Hello children, I'm named Thelma Cox. I lived when I was born in Wednesbury, which is right in the middle of England in the British Isles. The district was very industrial and they made steel, tanks, aircraft, everything for the war. So therefore it was a target for a lot of bombings by the Germans. So it was a very scary time.
When were you born?
I was born January the 11th, 1939, and the World War II started September 1939. So I was only a baby when it started, and I was only 6 when it ended in 1945. I'd like you to be introduced to Big Teddy, who was a big part of my life. He's aged 84 years old, and he was my brother's Teddy, who my grandmother bought him when he was born. And so he's 84, and he's been everywhere with me. And of course he was my friend all the way through the war.
What was the food like?
It was rationed. Everybody only had so much, about 2 ounces each of butter or margarine, you called it. Little bits like that. So Mum was a very good manager about making sure that, because there was 4 of us, 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls. Well, 1 girl afterwards, so 3. And she always made sure that we was fed. Very plain, but we were fed.
What are your strongest memories of the war?
Well, I was only 6 when it finished, but what I can remember was all the things that you never got to eat because it was all rationed. I'd never had a banana until well after the war, and I can remember as soon as big sirens went off, you've got to go to the nearest shelter, and when we was little you had to carry around with you gas masks in a little box that was sort of hung round shoulders, and if it happened when you were at school, they took you right down into these big shelters that was dug right underground. That was a bit frightening. And also all the windows were sort of blacked out with black curtains, so that was frightening, and I still feel it's frightening. And I have to have the curtains open even now, and I'm 81. So that's sort of what I can remember. But my husband, who's 3 years older, he's got more memories, and he can remember lying on this sort of green grassy bank and watching the German aeroplanes and the English aeroplanes do what they call dogfighting in the air, and that was right over us. So, you know, it was really scary.
Air raid shelter at home?
Yes, everyone had special ones that came in pieces, and they had to dig big deep holes and make them so as they was covered, but they were very, very cold, damp, and people, especially children, were caught cold sort of poorly by having to keep going into these air raid shelters. So, yeah, but everyone had one.
Did you get any sweets?
Very rarely. only on very special occasions such as Christmas or birthday times. And they were on ration, but my mum couldn't afford sweets. It got to be spent on to have essential food.
What was VE Day celebrations like?
Very good. Everybody really thoroughly enjoyed VE Day. I mean, 6 years of all this real, hard for people. And it was lovely because all the neighbours fetched out the tables and the chairs and made it one long thing, and all the children sat, and we had, food that you never had for ages, because people brought out the special food that they kept by for this day. And it was sandwiches, cakes, there was some sausage rolls, which I don't think I'd ever eaten any, and it was squash pie, and it was great, and that was in the day. And then at night, evening, we went down to my grandma's, and all mum's relatives were there as well, in their street, and they had a great big bonfire right in the middle of the street. I couldn't believe it. I was 6 and I just couldn't believe this big bonfire. And right in the middle of the street, and everybody was singing and dancing. It was just wonderful. Well, I hope you've enjoyed what I've had to say about the war and VE Day, and just think that people got through all these hard times, like people are doing now. So enjoy your VE Day and have a real good day. Bye bye.